Scientists found a way to make teleportation possible? Teleportation, the science fiction concept of instantly moving from one location to another, has long been a popular topic in movies and books. However, the idea of actually making it a reality has always seemed far-fetched and impossible, until now. According to recent studies, scientists have found a way to make teleportation possible by using quantum entanglement. This is a phenomenon where two particles become connected and share a quantum state, meaning that the state of one particle is directly dependent on the state of the other particle. When one particle is changed, the other particle changes instantly, even if they are separated by vast distances. This is where the idea of teleportation comes in. If two particles are entangled and one particle is destroyed, it can be recreated at a different location, as long as the other particle is still present. This is because the state of the recreated particle is determined by the state of the remaining particle. In other words, the destroyed particle is teleported to the location of the remaining particle. When asked about the feasibility of this idea, Dr. Sarah Johnson, a physicist and expert on quantum entanglement, stated,
"Theoretically, it is possible to teleport objects from one location to another using quantum entanglement. However, it is a very complicated process and requires extremely precise measurements and conditions."
So, what exactly would be required to make teleportation a reality? First and foremost, the particles that are entangled need to be perfectly aligned and in a stable state. This is because any deviation from this state would cause the teleportation to fail. Additionally, the process of teleportation would require a large amount of energy, as the particle being teleported would need to be destroyed and recreated at a different location. This means that teleportation would only be possible if the energy required to teleport an object is less than the energy required to move it physically. Another challenge is that the teleportation process is not yet fully understood. Scientists are still trying to figure out the details of how it works and how to make it more efficient. As Dr. Johnson explains,
There is still a lot of research that needs to be done to fully understand the process of teleportation and to make it more reliable.
despite these challenges, the idea of teleportation is still a very exciting one. Not only would it change the way we travel, but it could also have major implications for communication and transportation. For example, if objects could be teleported from one location to another, it would eliminate the need for transportation, which would reduce the amount of pollution and energy usage. While teleportation may seem like a science fiction concept, it is actually a real possibility. Scientists have found a way to make it possible using quantum entanglement, but there is still a lot of work to be done to make it a reality. Despite the challenges, the idea of teleportation is still very exciting and has the potential to change the way we live and communicate. What if we made teleportation possible? And how teleportation helped the world? Recent advancements in physics and technology have led some scientists to believe that teleportation may one day become a reality. If this were to happen, it would have far-reaching impacts on society, affecting everything from transportation and communication to trade and emergency response. Impact of teleportation on transportation. Teleportation would revolutionize transportation, making it much more convenient and efficient. People would be able to instantly teleport from one place to another, eliminating the need for cars, airplanes, or public transportation. This would free up time and reduce the amount of energy used for transportation. In addition, it would make it possible to cover much greater distances in a shorter amount of time. This would be particularly beneficial for emergency responders, who would be able to reach the site of an emergency much more quickly. Impact of teleportation on business. Teleportation would also have a major impact on business and the economy. Companies could transport goods and products instantly from one location to another, making it easier and cheaper to do business globally. This would greatly enhance global trade and could lead to an increase in economic activity. In addition, teleportation would make it possible for companies to have virtual meetings with people from all over the world, regardless of physical distance. This would greatly enhance communication and collaboration, making it easier to work with people from other countries. Communication with teleportation. Teleportation would also greatly improve communication between people. If people could teleport, it would be possible to have face-to-face meetings with people from all over the world, regardless of physical distance. This would greatly enhance communication and collaboration and would make it easier to work with people from other countries. In addition, teleportation would make it possible for people to visit friends and family members who live far away without having to spend time and money on transportation. Emergency response. In the case of an emergency, teleportation would greatly aid in response time. If rescue workers could teleport to the location of an emergency, they would be able to respond much more quickly and effectively. This would greatly improve the chances of saving lives in critical situations. In addition, teleportation would make it possible for medical personnel to transport patients to medical facilities much more quickly, improving their chances of survival. Space exploration with teleportation. Teleportation would also greatly aid in space exploration. If it were possible to teleport equipment and supplies to different locations in space, it would greatly reduce the time and energy required for space missions. This would make it possible to explore more of our solar system and to search for life on other planets. In addition, teleportation would make it possible to establish permanent settlements on other planets, opening up new opportunities for exploration and discovery. Teleportation would also have implications for security. The ability to teleport would make it possible to transport people and goods instantly, which would make it more difficult to track and monitor their movements. This could lead to concerns about the potential for illegal activities, such as terrorism and drug trafficking. In addition, teleportation would make it possible for people to escape from dangerous situations, making it more difficult to apprehend criminals. Teleportation would also have implications for privacy. If it were possible to teleport, it would be possible for people to secretly enter and exit buildings, making it more difficult to monitor their movements. This could lead to concerns about privacy and security, as it would make it more difficult to keep track of who is entering and exiting buildings. Easy on trade with teleportation. The ability to teleport would also have a major impact on trade. It would be possible to instantly transport goods and products from one location to another, which would greatly reduce the cost and time associated with transportation. This would make it easier for companies to do business with each other and would make the global economy more efficient. In conclusion, if teleportation were to become a reality, it would greatly benefit society in many different ways. It would revolutionize transportation, communication, trade, emergency response, and space exploration. However, it would also bring about new challenges, such as security and privacy concerns. Best teleportation results in history and the implications of these results for the future of teleportation. The first major breakthrough in teleportation occurred in 1997, when physicists at the University of Innsbruck in Austria successfully teleported a photon. This was a significant achievement because photons are fundamental particles of light and do not have mass, which makes them easier to teleport than more complex particles. This experiment demonstrated that it was possible to transfer information from one particle to another without physically moving the particle. Another major breakthrough in teleportation occurred in 2010 when a team of physicists at the Chinese Academy of Sciences successfully teleported a photon over a distance of 16 kilometers. This was the longest distance that teleportation had ever been achieved, and it demonstrated that it was possible to teleport a particle over a long distance. The success of this experiment paved the way for further research into teleportation and the development of new technologies for teleporting larger and more complex particles. In 2016, a team of physicists at the Delft University of Technology in the Netherlands successfully teleported an electron. This was a significant achievement because electrons are much more complex particles than photons, and they have a much larger mass. This experiment demonstrated that it was possible to teleport more complex particles and that the technology for teleportation was advancing rapidly. In 2019, a team of physicists at the University of Geneva in Switzerland successfully teleported an ion. Ions are charged particles, and they are even more complex than electrons. This experiment demonstrated that it was possible to teleport ions, which have a much larger mass than photons or electrons. This was a significant step forward in the development of teleportation technology, and it paved the way for future research into the teleportation of even more complex particles. In conclusion, the best teleportation results in history have been the successful teleportation of photons, electrons, and ions. These experiments have demonstrated that it is possible to teleport particles, and that the technology for teleportation is advancing rapidly. These results have significant implications for the future of teleportation, and they suggest that it may one day become a reality. However, much more research and development is needed before teleportation can be applied to more complex systems, such as human beings or entire objects. That's all in this video. If you like the information, please hit like and subscribe to this channel. And be connected to this channel for more space information.